What's up, everybody? Silas back again today. It's another day in paradise. I'm headed back over here to the Studebaker cleanup. We're going to try to get all the cars hauled today, and I believe they're here for the crusher now, or they will be here any minute. I'm almost there now. I'm driving up, actually. Hopefully we can get it done today. That's the plan. I want to get as much of it done as possible anyway. I may have to finish it up tomorrow, and then the semi-trailer, cleaning that out, we'll probably wait till later in the week or next week to get that done. And there it goes. Headed back to the yard. Actually, it's going to head back to one of our other yards. We haven't had a crusher there in a long time, but my dad's going to take it in there and crush a bunch of cars. There was one Jeep left over that a guy brought over the weekend, so we just stuck it in there and smashed it, and makes it easier to haul it home that way. So that's that. Now all I have left to do is haul everything home that's left. And one quick note on the crusher again, that phone number that's on there, that is not my phone number. And so a bunch of people have been calling that number and harassing that guy. That's my dad. He had nothing to do with crushing these cars. I mean, he bought the cars, and he's the one that sent me over here. But when you call him and chew him out, he's not even the one that crushed the cars. So I know he's had a bunch of people calling him. So you're wasting your time if you think you're getting a hold of me. I don't give my phone number out to anybody. And I have two phones, and my second phone literally nobody has except for my wife. So please don't call that phone number that was on the crusher and harass my dad. But anyway, Sean's on his way over again, and he's bringing a truck bed with him. It's got sides on it once again, so I can take the rest of these noses and whatnot that are laying around over here. And there's some fenders and some doors, odds and ends like that. We're going to load that up on his truck so we can haul it home easier. And we're going to stack the bumpers on that flatbed that I stacked those front ends on. And I think there's like 6 cars left, something like that. So hopefully we can get most of it done. We'll see what happens. Got quite a few noses left to bring home. I've got a grill for that one sitting in the back of my truck. You got that big pile of generators and starters. Got all this stuff over here. I've mentioned it before, but all these wheels here, Sean's taking those with him. I don't like to mess with wheels. I know there's money in them, and so I just let him do that for helping me out. He can have all these. And we saved a bunch of other odds and end parts for core buyers, and just all sorts of trinkets. There was a whole bunch of stuff up here that we took home already that we packed in cars. I mean, we saved a ton of stuff out of here. And so all the people that have spent the last couple days, several days, my video crushing those cars just posted, and it's just non-stop people chewing me out, telling me I'm pathetic. I even had people saying that they wish I would just die. So I thought that was a little bit extreme, but I guess it is what it is. Those people grew up driving those cars, and they feel really offended at the fact that I was crushing them even though there was nothing left of them. They wanted me to save them forever and never get rid of them, and I pay the property taxes to keep them all and all that, because all these cars that we do save are going out to my property, so I'm the one that has to pay the taxes to keep them. So I thought that was a little bit selfish on their part, but it is what it is. I still had fun out here. This was a ton of fun, cleaning this place up, crushing these cars, saving the parts that I did save. But I am looking forward to being done out here. I have got so much work to do elsewhere. I am way behind on everything else. And like I've said before, we would have made way more money just to come in here in the very beginning and just crush everything and save nothing and be done. We would have made more money doing it that way in the long run. But because I do like old cars, we saved a lot of stuff, and it's just a lot of work on me. But hopefully by at least by tomorrow, we are completely done. And once I'm done here, I'm going to take the loader back to our main yard and get back over there and start crushing the cars, get that cleaned up. I'm way behind on crushing stuff there. I have got, I don't know how many cars dumped in the street and everything. I finally just had to lock the gates and tell everybody we're closed, turn the scales off, that sort of stuff to keep people from going in there. Prices keep going down, so I don't know if we'll ship a whole lot, but I do have to ship some just to make some room. I've got that other limousine there still. I'll probably make a video of crushing that. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that one yet, but we'll figure that one out when I get back. And either the end of this month or probably the middle of next month, I've got to clean up north of town. I showed you guys a preview of that here a while back. There's not a whole lot there. I should be able to get that one done in a day, so I got to get that done yet. And then I've got another farm, actually not too far from here, about halfway between here and back to town. And he's got a bunch of cool stuff there, a bunch of farm equipment. There's an old power wagon that somebody actually took. Sorry, my phone always rings when I'm trying to talk. Every single time I get this camera out, my phone starts ringing. But anyway, there's an old power wagon there that somebody actually took a Studebaker cab and stuck on it. So that's pretty neat. It was an old military power wagon, and it was back when they didn't have cabs on them yet. They were just open top, and the farmer that had it wanted a cab on it. So he took a Studebaker truck and slapped on the body. So that's pretty cool. I think there's an old 34 Chevy truck back in there that's all complete. A bunch of neat stuff and bunches of old farm equipment. Once again, most of that's just going to go for scrap. And I believe it's gone now, but they actually had a barn there last time I was there that was all put together with no nails. All that held that barn together was wooden dowel pins, about that long, they would actually drill holes through the wood and stick the wooden dowels in there. And the barn was still just as straight as when they built it back in the early 1900s, over 100 years old. And some company from out of state came in and bought the barn and took it down for the wood. So I've got a lot to get done, so let's get to it. I got quite a few of these on one load, so that helps out a ton. So now I don't have to worry about hauling those. I just got one truck bed left over here. That and there, I think I can squeeze that and that little Nash wagon over there together on one load. It'll be a little bit long, but I think I can sneak it back to town. I'll probably have to take the back roads of that one. All right, I am headed back with that car. If you guys can see it. The sun's glaring a little bit. There we go. Now you guys can see it. I'm headed back with that one on my trailer. Sean's got a load of odds and ends stuff on his truck. That truck bed clear full of odds and end parts. And Skylar's hauling back that load of beds in that cab. So we'll unload all those. I think Sean and I are going to go back out and each get one more load. And then we'll go back out one more time. And there's some stuff that Sean's getting. He'll take it on home and I'll get another load to take on home myself. This car here, both sides of it will make good wall hangers. This one's missing the door handles on this side. It's got a little bit of a cutout around the taillight. That ain't too bad. The other side still has the door handles. But this one here was well worth bringing home. And for those that haven't noticed yet, I got a new hat. My case hat was getting pretty grody. And I was at Cabela's over the weekend and they had some hats on sale for 10 bucks a piece. And I thought, you know, that's a pretty good price for a work hat. So I found one that was comfortable and grabbed it. Something about a pheasant opener. It's got a pheasant on the side of it over here. I've been pheasant hunting once in my life about 6 years ago, but it's a comfortable hat and it's brown so it doesn't show the dirt quite as bad, so why not?
It is heavy, believe it or not. Watch it sag. That's how we do it. How you put a V8 in a Studebaker? Just like that.
This is quite the load here. Bumpers and front axles. We got 6 straps on it though, so it should hold together. Well, I made it back. That's a heavy load with all those axles on there, and I fought the wind the whole way. This whole truck was running pretty hot and it didn't like it, but we made it. Got the old two-door hardtop loaded up on my trailer. Ain't much left of it, but it does have a good seat frame, which is two-door hardtop. Does have the top in it still, all the glass. Don't know that it's worth anything, but I'm gonna take it home anyway just because I don't have anything like it. My dad's loading up, or I already loaded up the Lark wagon on him. He's gonna take it back. And Sean's got the old frame and the old blue cab. We're gonna load up all the wheels on there now. This old cab here is the one that's clear full of mercury heads. There's even a crank down in there that might be a mercury crank. Bunches of wheels. And this really cool bumper guard. I don't remember which truck that came off of, one of the Studebakers. That's a neat piece. That's all for today, but I am going to continue this vlog tomorrow. I got 3 more cars to haul, so I'll see you guys in the morning. Good morning, Silas back again. I already got 1 car loaded up. I'm headed back to the yard. It's a bit chilly this morning. I think it's like 56 degrees out this morning. Way cooler than it has been. Yesterday was super windy, and so it was a nightmare to be hauling these cars home and that sort of stuff. But it was coming out of the north and it brought in a cool front and cooled it way down because it was hot yesterday and the day before. All through the weekend, it was just miserable out. But now it's actually pretty nice. And they're saying tonight it's supposed to get down to like 47 degrees. So that's going to be a little bit chilly. Not used to that weather. And then the highs are supposed to be in the 70s, 80s. So it's looking like it's going to be a nice next week or two. And there it is, the very last load. This is a strap fiasco right here. I used up every one of my straps, and luckily my dad was here too, so I could use a couple of his straps, because otherwise I would have had to throw chains over the top of that car and smash it down. Somebody decided to take the straps out of the back of my truck at some point. But I got all these hubcaps in here. I think they'll stay in there. I'm hoping they're staying there. Got this hood and fender strapped down up there. So I think we're good to go. I'll take it nice and slow. This place looks totally different now. This is where all the old trucks were. It was all through here. There was multiple rows of them too. And they're all gone. Then it was all the mid-50s and newer cars over here in this area. Now they're all gone. And back here across the tracks, this area over here was all the really old cars out of the 40s and early 50s. Looks a lot different. A lot of those cars have been sitting there since I was a little kid. Actually, they've been sitting there since before I was even born, but I just remember coming back here and looking at them when I was a little kid. I like those Packers. I always thought those were super cool cars that were back there in that back row. So I'm glad we got to keep those. And then down there behind that cottonwood was where all his big truck stuff was. His big 10.5 trucks and that sort of stuff. So it looks a lot different in here now. He's going to come out here and burn some of this off, and then come through here with his rake and rake it, make sure, I think he actually did that now that I look at it. Make sure there's no hunks of iron or brake drums or wheels or nothing waiting for him. Then he'll go over it with his brush hog. Looks like I missed some stuff back here. A couple truck axles laying here. And there's that old head. I couldn't get that out anyway. I could rip it out of there with a loader, but it's kind of neat just to leave it there. And these barrels he put back here, so he has burn barrels in the future. But there's a big old truck tire back here against the fence. So I missed a few pieces, but oh well. They'll stay with the farm. They're supposed to come get the loader either later today or in the morning. Take it back to the main yard so I can get busy back over there again, hopefully. We still have to come back over and finish cleaning out that semi-trailer that's over there. Not the one you can see, but there's another one over there. So we'll probably do that either later this week or next week sometime. This is kind of a sketchy load, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the dirt road again this time. I'm a little bit butt heavy, and this road's bumpy. I forgot how bumpy this first mile or so is. Anyway, I'm a little bit butt heavy with that car at the very back, and that car is clear full of stuff. And it's a complete car. It's not a very heavy car, but I have it set at the very back of my trailer. And that truck bed full of hubcaps isn't very heavy at the front of the trailer. So I can't do more than about 55 to 60 miles an hour in this wind. So it's a narrow 2-lane highway I'd have to take home with a couple passing zones, but I'd have traffic backed up behind me. And then I'm worried about a hubcap snagging the wind and flying out and smacking a car in the windshield. So I'm going to try to avoid as much of the highway as possible. So I'm going to take dirt all the way to Yoder Road, if you guys remember that from one of my previous vlogs. So anyway, if you remember that Yoder Road, that goes to a small town called Yoder. It was established as an Amish community once upon a time. And now the actual town itself, there's not a whole lot of Amish people there, but all around it is a lot of Amish people. So maybe we'll see a horse and buggy, something interesting like that. There's not too many of the Amish around here still ride horse and buggies on a regular basis. Most of them drive tractors. Regardless of how you feel about that, that's what they do around here. See, it's not uncommon to see tractors driving into town, especially where I work. Our main yard is right off one of the main roads that comes into town from Yoder direction. So all the time there's tractors driving by. I'm on the narrow part of this dirt road again. It's not the real narrow part, but it's still pretty narrow here, and I couldn't record it because I needed both hands, but I just had to drive in the ditch because a tractor with a big plow attached to the back of it was going the opposite direction. So he had to drive in the ditch, and I had to drive in the ditch, and we still were only had about 1.5 feet of clearance. And that type of stuff happens all the time out here on these dirt roads. It's not something anybody ever gets upset about. It's just part of life. You know, when you're driving a big piece of equipment, or if you're driving your car down a dirt road, you might run into a big piece of equipment. So it's just part of life. I know some people that aren't used to that get upset when they get stuck behind a tractor or a combine driving down the road, but it's what you got to deal with out here. Everybody wants to go to the grocery store, buy their loaf of bread, but they don't want to deal with slow moving equipment blocking the road. Even me, sometimes when I'm driving the loader down the street, I have people, that loader only do about 15 to 20 miles an hour, which is better than a combine or a tractor, but it's still pretty slow. And people get all upset at me and zip around me, and I've had people flip me off and everything else before. People get so impatient sometimes. I'm always in a hurry, and I'm always running late, and I've always got 50 million things to do that I can't get done. But there's no reason to be rude to people just because of something that nobody can help. This place right here, yeah, it looks like it's all cleaned up now. That place right there, there's a whole bunch of junk cars in there at one point. Just bunches of them, all back through these trees here. And there was nothing good in there, it was all just junk. We cleaned that up here a number of years back. I say it was all just junk, now it'd probably all be antiques. Or horse and buggies, but you can see like up there, they got all their tractors, that sort of stuff. They have very beautiful houses out here. Some really nice farms out here. And a lot of them don't have any electricity. If you're not familiar with Amish, they live like they did when they came over here basically, except for around here they're a little bit more modernized. They use more modern stuff like tractors and whatnot. But still no electricity, no natural gas, all the stuff we take for granted. This is K14 right here. There's a really cool auction out that way a little ways. Sometime I'll take you guys out there when I have time to go to that auction. They always have a lot of neat stuff. Here's a real pretty house and barn over here. Not sure where we are, Broadacres Road. All sorts of pretty stuff out here. I like that barn. They got a bunch of dairy cows out there. You can sure smell them. Wind's blowing right through that passenger window. There's tons of beautiful houses out here. Here's another nice one over here. This is a newer home here. Kind of that gray brick. There's a lot of really pretty scenery out here and a lot of really nice houses. But the smell, if you don't like the smell of cows, you do not want to live out here because there's cows everywhere in this area. Well, I made it back. I am done hauling. We're completely done there except for what's in that semi-trailer, like I said. Worry about that later, but all the cars are here. I don't have to go back and forth from the trailer anymore. That load there was a little bit different. I had to stop a couple times to tighten it down, but not too bad. I didn't lose anything. I made it back all in one piece and didn't get pulled over. So that's all for this video. I'll take one more video and I'll just kind of go through everything that we saved, kind of show you guys what all didn't get crushed. There's quite a bit of it, so stay tuned for that video. But that's all for this one, so I'll see you guys next time, and remember to get out there and find an adventure.